Hello and welcome to Jurassic Reviews. Today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite Jurassic Park toys, but before we start I want to talk briefly about how I'm going to treat figures that had repaints in later lines. By repaint I mean that they were re-released in different toy line with the same mold but a different coat of paint. What I'm going to do is just combine figures that had repaints into one video to avoid redundant videos later on. This would be really annoying once we reach Hasbro's lines and figures like Mattel's Gallimimus. The main reason I'm bringing this up is today's figure is one of those repainted ones, and this one specifically is one of Kenner's most repainted. That figure is a Series 1 Velociraptor, the non-electric version. The Series 1 Velociraptor was among the smaller, more affordable dinosaurs released for this line. It retailed back in 1993 for $4.99 and included a collector's card, as seen here. This raptor had a light brown paint job with black stripes and is painted a sort of beige color underneath. It has green eyes and has its JP mark on its legs. This one's number is 3. It stands 4.5 inches tall and is 9 inches long. Here it is with a Kenner 4-inch human and a Mattel 3 3/4 scale human. Its action feature on the box says that it has Dino Strike slashing jaws. The feature works by squeezing its legs inwards. This causes the head to move forward and the jaws to open, like it's lunging into an attack. For some reason when I was younger it took me forever to figure out that it could do this. I always just moved the head myself. Really cool feature though. It was fun to attack humans and other dinosaurs with this one when I was little. As far as articulation, its arms and legs can move, and as previously mentioned, its head can move forward and its jaws can open. The paint has some resemblance to its movie counterpart, at least the brown color. The head looks a bit off due to the action feature, but I never really had a problem with it. It's still one of my favorite Velociraptor figures. This figure would be re-released in the Series 2 line in 1994. It would be exactly the same paint-wise. The only difference with this release would be the packaging, a different collector's card, and capture gear. Otherwise, it's the same thing. Here's a picture of it in its box and with its card. Like most figures in the Series 2 line, it's a bit more uncommon. Though with this one you could only really tell if you had it in its packaging or the card that it came with. The next release of this figure would be for the Lost World film in 1997. For the Lost World figures, they did away with collector cards in favor of them all having capture gear. The Velociraptor for this line is a repaint, but only a slight one. It's more of a reddish color and the underside is whiter. It also has a light blue color under its jaw. It still has the black stripes, but the eye color has changed to yellow. Well, at least for most of them. There's actually a more uncommon variant of this release with green eyes, so be on the lookout for that. I actually have one here in its box. This is actually the first version of this raptor that I ever had. I got it in the Christmas '97 with all the Lost World stuff that I mentioned in a previous video. For me, personally, I always associate this raptor as being my raptor, and the Cyclops raptor from the same line as my brother's, as that was the one he received for Christmas. Unfortunately, my original raptor that I still have lost his toenails to a lawnmower. The next repaint of this figure would come in probably the most bizarre line of Jurassic Park toys ever made, the Chaos Effect line, which was released in 1998. This line is known for its wacky paint schemes and cartoony nature. There's a lot of hits and misses with this line. The Velociraptor Repaint, though, is definitely a hit. Its name for this release was actually changed to Raptor Alpha. This is by far one of my favorite paint jobs of any Jurassic Park figure. It's just so awesome looking. The mix of the neon looking green, yellow, blue, and the black stripes make it such a striking looking figure. They did a fantastic job on this one. The last release of this figure would be a step down in the paint category. This one was part of the Jurassic Park Dinosaurs line released in 1999. It's almost a cyan looking color. This is probably my least favorite of the Velociraptor repaints, though it's actually probably the rarest of any of them. As not only was it part of this Walmart exclusive line, it was part of the second wave of figures which are harder to find. An even rarer variant of this figure was released in Mexico with Jurassic Park 3 packaging. This was exclusive to KB toy stores there. In terms of rarity, the original release is still pretty common. They usually can be had for around $10 or less. The Lost World one is pretty much the same. The green-eyed variant may fetch higher prices. The Chaos Effect version is on the uncommon side. I see loose versions going for around $20, with box versions going for around $50. The Jurassic Park Dinosaurs version is in the $30 range loose and $50 or more boxed. As always, my price guide here is just from my own observations, nothing official. You can always find these for more or less. It's worth mentioning that this sculpt was going to be used as a different dinosaur for the Lost World, with a tiger stripe looking paint job. This only appeared in a 1997 Kenner catalog under the name Deinonychus. It's a shame this one wasn't released because it's probably the coolest looking paint job for this sculpt after the Chaos Effect version. This sculpt was also going to be released in the cancelled Chaos Effect Night Hunter line. I follow up to the Chaos Effect line. For my score for each of these figures, I give the original release an 8 out of 10. Same for the Lost World. The Chaos Effect version gets a 9 out of 10, and the JP Dinosaurs one a 6 out of 10. Really though, you can't go wrong with any of them, as the sculpt is great, and as a kid it was one of my favorites to play with. I highly recommend it, especially if you can find that Chaos Effect version. That does it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to subscribe and follow me along on this review journey. Next time we'll be taking a look at a herbivore from this line. Thanks for watching, and see you on the next episode.